Hey everyone, today we're going to break down personal finance, but not in the way you might think. We're going to look past all the spreadsheets and numbers to get to what really drives financial success. And that's what's going on in your head. Let's dive in.
So, I want to start with a really direct question because it gets right to the heart of everything we're talking about today. Do you feel like you're in the driver's seat of your financial life? Or does it feel more like you're just reacting to whatever it throws at you? Our goal here is to put you firmly in control.
Okay, first things first, we have to get our heads around the fact that our relationship with money is super emotional. So many financial experts agree on this one thing. Your behavior with money is way more important than how smart you are. This isn't just a math problem. It's about how you handle things like fear, patience, and greed day in and day out. To really see this in action, let's talk about a classic psychology experiment, the Stanford Marshmallow Test. It's such a simple but brilliant study, and it reveals one of the biggest secrets to long-term success, especially when it comes to money. So here was the simple choice these kids had to make. They were given a marshmallow and a deal. You can eat this one marshmallow right now, or if you can wait just 15 minutes, you'll get a second one. This is the absolute essence of delayed gratification, choosing a bigger reward in the future over a smaller one right now. And boom, that right there is the perfect metaphor for our finances, isn't it? Our whole financial life is basically a series of these little marshmallow tests. Every time you choose to save or invest that dollar, you're choosing that second marshmallow. It's not about being right or wrong, it's always a choice between now versus later. All right, so we've got the mindset down. Now let's get practical and talk about the actual rules of the game. These are the foundational ideas that pretty much every financial expert on the planet agrees on, and you might be surprised by how simple they really are. And here it is, the big one. There is absolutely no secret trick to building wealth if you haven't mastered this rule first. It is the non-negotiable starting line. It doesn't matter if you want to get out of debt or become a millionaire, you have to create a gap between what comes in and what goes out. That's it. Period. So, what's the best way to make sure you're spending less than you earn? You flip the script on the traditional budget. See, most people think income minus expenses equals whatever is left for savings. But wealthy people, they think income minus savings equals what's left for expenses. You pay yourself first. You decide on your savings goal, you put that money away the second you get paid, and then you figure out how to live on the rest. Now, beyond that number one rule, there are a few others you've got to internalize. You need to put your money to work through investing so it starts earning money for you. Try to limit debt, especially for things that just lose value, like cars and gadgets. Keep learning, always. Maximize your company benefits, like a 401k match. I mean, come on, it's free money. And finally, have a plan for emergencies so one piece of bad luck doesn't completely derail your whole future. Look, knowing all the rules is great, but rules without a goal, that's just busy work. You have to know what you're actually aiming for. What does financial success really look like to you? What's the whole point of all this saving and investing anyway? One really popular answer to that question is a movement called FIRE. It stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. And at its heart, it's a philosophy that completely challenges that old school idea of working until you're 65. Instead, it's all about using aggressive saving and really intentional spending to buy back your single most valuable asset, your time. So how do people in the FIRE movement know when they've hit their goal? Well, a lot of them use something called the 25x rule. It's a surprisingly simple formula. Just figure out what you'd need to spend per year in retirement, multiply that number by 25, and that's your target. So if you think you could live happily on, say, $50,000 a year, your FIRE number is 1.25 million. And what's really cool is that FIRE isn't this rigid one-size-fits-all plan. There are all these different flavors. You've got lean FIRE for minimalists and fat FIRE for people who want a more high-end retirement. There's even barista FIRE, where you leave your main career but work part-time, maybe for the health benefits. And Coast FIRE, where you save a ton early on and then just let compound interest do all the heavy lifting for you. The whole point is to define freedom on your own terms. Okay, so having a goal like financial independence is awesome. But how do you build the knowledge and the discipline to actually get there? Well, you learn from the people who've already mapped out the territory. So let's talk about 3 essential books that each give you a different but crucial piece of this puzzle. First up, for the mindset shift, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This book is a total classic for a reason. It fundamentally changes how you see money. It teaches you to stop thinking like an employee who's just trading time for a paycheck and start thinking like an owner who buys assets that generate income for you. This is the why behind building wealth. Next, let's look at the practical proof, The Millionaire Next Door. So if Rich Dad is the philosophy, this book is the hard data. It just shatters that myth of the flashy, high-rolling millionaire. Through actual research, it shows that most wealthy people are just masters of the basic principles we've been talking about. They live below their means and care more about financial security than they do about social status. This is the how. And finally, we have the book that ties it all together, The Psychology of Money. This one brings us right back to where we started. It makes the case that even if you know the why and the how, your success ultimately comes down to managing your own emotions and behaviors along the way. It's packed with stories that prove that financial success is less about what you know and way more about how you act. And that brings us to our final and, honestly, maybe the most important section of this whole conversation. All of these principles, all of these tools, they're all designed to help you answer one really personal question. What is enough for you? You know, it's funny. Research shows this over and over again. The link between money and happiness isn't infinite. A really famous Wharton study confirmed that, yeah, income and happiness do rise together, but only up to a point. After that, the effect levels off. More money just buys more convenience, not necessarily more joy. So here's the real bottom line. True financial success isn't some number in a bank account. It's a feeling. It's security. It's freedom. It's when your money stops being a scorecard and starts being a tool that actually supports the life you genuinely want to live. So I'll leave you with this one question to really think about. Forget what society tells you. Forget what you see on social media. What is your enough? Because figuring that out for yourself, that's the ultimate financial superpower.